Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review of Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 10, called Locked Out. And in this case, Rachel got locked the out. Okay, we start off with Ryan. He's cooking breakfast. He got some nasty looking smoothie type thing in the on the island. Brett takes a sip. She's like, "Oh, it tastes very healthy." And I'm like, "The shit looks like mud, Brett." She being so nice because she like Ryan and everything. But I'm like, Brett, just call it for what it is. It looked like mud. It looks disgusting. Might have tasted good, but in Brett's case, it doesn't taste good. We get to Johnny and Bao. They're doing yoga. Marilla, she's looking at her phone at shoes. This time instead of the purses she was last time. And I'm just like, okay, at this point, Marilla looks at clothes and shoes and purses. What else is new? Move on to Zach. He's working out. They do the whole dramatic of him working out with the dramatic music and whatnot. So his friend Jaron comes to visit. Jaron asks how's thing going with Zach and Michaela. So he explains that after the little cook session with the wannabe chef, where Michaela couldn't boil water that night. So I guess after the whole cook session, after they ate and everything, and after Zach done stopped choking on the spicy food, I guess they decided to watch a movie together. So I guess for the movie they wanted to watch, Zach says, "Okay, I got Apple TV at the house. I'm just gonna stop by the house, get the Apple TV, come back, and we go watch a movie." Cool. He goes home and he gets the Apple TV, but then he realizes it's like pretty late, so he's just like, "I'm just gonna stay at the house." So he texts Michaela saying he's gonna stay at the house. Obviously, she was a little bit upset and disappointed, but she didn't like blow up on him and stuff. So she just said, "Okay, cool." So in that aspect, Zach thinks that the communication, her communication is working better because he's working on his communication and she's working on not blowing up at him so much. And I'm just like, so when did you decide that you was gonna stay at the house, Zach? Did you just decide you was gonna stay at the house on the way to the house before you left to go to your house, or once you got to your house? Because it's not making sense to me. It's not making sense for me because you had the notion of, I'm gonna go pick this thing up and come back and watch a movie with Michaela. So you already knew what time it was before you left the house. So was you not thinking like, okay, maybe it's gonna be too late, might as well just stay here, figure something out from Netflix or something? Because you could sign on to Netflix over there as long as you got the password and username. I don't know. For me, I just feel like Zach just wanted to go home. He just wanted another night not staying in the apartment with Michaela because he still has anxiety from her outburst, or whatever. So to me, I feel like that was just a cop out for him to go home. He makes all this excuse, but I'm just like, nah, this is stupid. You go home and says, "Oh, it's too late," so you just go. No, you wanted to go home. Even if you didn't, if you're gonna say no, that's not the case, I was gonna come. No, because I feel like subconsciously you knew in your head you weren't gonna come back because you was like, I'm trying to deal with that. She might still, because he might still be scared, like she gonna kill me in my sleep. I can't do that. So he thinks it's going better. I don't know what Jerron done said, but I'm just at that point I was just like, Zach, you capping. So this is the episode where instead of, Pastor Cal done went sitting down with all the couples, so now it's Dr. Viviana's turn. So I'm going to assume the next couple of episodes is going to be Dr. Pepper's turn. So Dr. Viviana goes to visit Brett and Ryan first. Brett was so excited when she opened the door. She's like, "Ee!" And I'm just like, ugh. Because I'm just like, what did Dr. Viviana gonna say now? Because the experts, y'all say y'all here for them. They could call you whenever and whatever and whatnot. I don't honestly feel like that's true because like you guys pop in here and there, but you're not really there. I feel like the incident with Jose and Rachel that we're gonna get into, instead of a producer trying to talk to them, you guys should have had them. You should have sat, one of the experts, or if not all three of the experts, should have sat down and talked with Ryan. I mean, not Ryan, but Rachel and Jose. So no. Anywho, she sits to talk with them. Brett said Ryan is affectionate and is the most affectionate guy she's ever had in her entire life. And I'm just like, he must be doing something to you off camera that we don't see, because what we see from camera, what's been shown on the TV so far in these past 9/10 episodes of 2 hours. So that's really 20 to 21 episodes. I mean, 20 to 21 hours. I'm not seeing the affection she's talking about. Personally speaking, I don't see that affection, but for her, she see, he's the most affectionate. And I'm just like, if he's the most affectionate guy you've ever had, Brett, then all your other guys you had must have sucked. They must have been the worst boyfriends and whatnot ever, because I'm like, what affection is Ryan showing you that you feel like is the best affection you've ever received in your life from a guy that you're dating, or in this case, married to? Ryan, on the other hand, he doesn't feel the same way. They still haven't been intimate because since, Dr. Viviana, she's like a sex therapist and whatnot. With all the couples, she addresses sex right off the bat. But that's really kind of all they talk about. But Ryan says it's not there for him yet. And he's moving kind of slow. Brett likes Ryan, but Ryan doesn't really feel the same way about Brett that Brett feels about him. And he's still waiting for the feeling. Dr. Viviana asks, what feeling are you talking about? He's like, I'm still waiting for the butterflies. I still want to feel that. And Brett starts crying. I'm like, Brett, calm down. Brett, calm down. I know you feeling some type of way, Brett, but calm down. Don't start this with me, Brett. I already had to deal with the Love and Hip Hop, everybody crying over there. Brett, just hold your horses real quick. Okay, it's been 2 weeks, dog. It's been 2 weeks. So when Dr. Viviana asked her, why is she crying? Why is she getting emotional right now? Brett said, this is not the first time she's heard that or she's felt that, because in her past relationships, she always feels like she likes them more than they like her. It's always like, yeah, I like you, but yeah, you're great, but, and she just feels kind of like how Gil feels, like unwanted and unloved and all that stuff, all that jazz. And Ryan's like, well, he didn't say nothing bad about her. And she's like, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. And I'm like, Brett, see, now this is your defense mechanism acting up right now. I get it. I get for feeling some type of way. Me, as a sensitive person myself, I would feel some type of way too. But I don't know if I would be crying because, I'm not trying to cry on camera like that. But then again, I wouldn't even be doing this whole exercise, getting married at first sight anyway. But I get it, Brett. I understand. But if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. No, that's not the case, because people may not feel it right now, but they can get into fall into like, or a strong like, as Jose says. So no, I feel like she's just trying to be on the defense mode right now, because she's like, well, if you're not going to like me, I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to stand up for myself. And you're not going to, but it's just like, no, Brett, you need to go take a breather. And that's why Dr. Viviana, when we get back from the commercial break, she's like, she wants to go further and deeper into this conversation. So that's when she has Brett step away from the room, because, Brett needs to go take a breather. She wants to delve deep with Ryan to see what's the real issue behind his slow pacedness. He says it's a type thing. And she's very high anxiety, whereas he is calm. And he feels like he has to be even more calm than he usually is because of the fact that she's so high anxiety. And when he says that, every time he keeps saying that, I keep going back to when he's talking about them on the airplane. And I'm just like, this airplane situation must have traumatized this guy so much that he's just like, I'm done. Just like how Zach got traumatized by Michaela's outburst. He's done. I don't know what's with these guys, because I just feel like they just, any little thing, they just out the door. So he's just still waiting for the feeling where he could just push her up against the wall and kiss her. And I'm just like, why can't you do that now? I get it. He's a touchy-feely guy. He likes the intimacy, the physical touch. That's his body language. I talked about that last week. That's his body language. Whereas Brett, I don't remember what I said about Brett last week. I really don't. But obviously, that's not Brett's love language at this moment in time, because she's still going slow. She's a prude. Sorry to say it. She's a prude. In my personal opinion, she's a prude. And Ryan, he wants to just, listen, he's sexually frustrated. I think Ryan is sexually frustrated. I feel like he just want to fuck. Like, can we just get to it? Because I feel like he's gonna be like a Johnny, where as soon as they fuck, he's gonna be all about Brett and stuff. So Dr. Viviana says, "Oh, that's Hollywood stuff," and if he keeps focusing on that, he's gonna end up single. And I'm just like, that's your personal opinion, Dr. Viviana. I personally don't feel that way. I feel like pushing someone up against the wall to kiss them and stuff like that, be passionate as Gil be talking about, that's Hollywood. No, it ain't, because it be happening in real life. Would you talk about, Dr. Viviana? Maybe you don't do that in your personal relationship with your husband, but I don't think that's a Hollywood stuff of things to think about. I think he just wants to fuck. Point blank, period. To keep it simple and short, he wants to fuck. And Brett is being approved. She's high anxiety, so I feel like in her head she's probably like, oh, what if it's too big, or what if I don't come? Like, I feel like she's that type of person. I'm not saying that she does think about those things, but because she's such high anxiety, she overthink and overreacts to every little thing. And Ryan's probably just like, nah, I'm tired of this. Like, can I just calm you down with my dick? I don't know, suggesting out there. But we get to Dr. Viviana visiting Zach and Michaela. And instantly, when they went to go sit down, I'm like, okay, here we go again. Michaela on this side, Zach on this side, opposite ends of the couch. And Dr. Viviana obviously asks how they're doing, where's their trust level at. Michaela says her trust level is at a 50%. Zach is kind of like shocked, like 50? Really? It's at a 50%? She's like, yeah. Because ever since of the movie situation, like, she's just been not high in trust with him. So Zach says he still doesn't trust her after her blowing up. And we kind of get into this back and forth between Zach and Michaela and Dr. Viviana of Zach saying he can't get over it. Michaela saying, like, I apologize. What else do you want me to do? I feel like you're jeopardizing the whole relationship, jeopardizing the whole marriage because of the fact that I blew up at you, and now that's what you just take me as a person that blows up. And Zach mentioned something about it being permanent, and then Dr. Viviana was just like, wow, really? It's permanent because of that? And he's just like, yeah. And at this point, Zach gets nervous and stuff, starts twiddling his fingers, and I'm just like, oh, the stuttering is about to come. But he didn't stutter. But I'm like, oh, I think the stuttering is about to come. I talk to myself. But Dr. Viviana's just like, because he's talking about Michaela's outbursts is like knee-jerk reactions. But Dr. Viviana's just like, no, it seems like you're taking her as a knee-jerk reaction person, but not for how she communicates, but just her in general. And he's like, yes, that's true. So obviously Michaela got a hurt face on. She looks sad and whatnot. And Dr. Viviana said obviously he lost trust, but it can be built back up again. And he doesn't feel like that way. He doesn't feel like it'll go away of how he feels about her. And Michaela says from him saying that, she doesn't feel secure in the marriage. And I'm just like, okay, Zach, if you're going to want this to work, you're going to have to learn to get through it and build up the intimacy, the relationship, and all the trust again. Because if you won't keep this over Michaela's head, you might as well not be with the girl. You don't be wasting her time. Don't be wasting your time. Don't be wasting the expert's time. Don't be wasting America's time. You wasting my time. Okay, are you going to be with her? You going to try to work this thing out? Well, if you're going to try to work this thing out, you're going to have to let bygones be bygones. She made a mistake, and all you can do is move forward, and hopefully she don't outburst again, even though we're going to say she outburst again. But I'm just saying, if you're going to move through with the relationship, you're going to have to learn to just let it go. Obviously, keep it in the back of your mind, like, all right, that's the warning. Don't do that shit again, because listen, I don't do that. I don't play that shit. But I'm going to move forward. I'm going to give you a low-key but clean slate. Not really but clean slate, but like a clean slate. We're going to try to work it out, see where this goes. And then I'm going to keep trying to build a trust with you until you bring that shit, until you give me a reason not to trust you again, type of thing. But you keeping this whole thing of, no, I can't get through this and stuff, and saying we're going to watch a movie, then you'll go home with your dog. What's the dog? I already forgot the dog's name. And just be like, you know what, it's already late, I'm going to stay home. No, we don't do that, Zach. Yes, good job for communicating with Michaela and telling her once you got home that you're probably not going to come back. But at the same time, Zach, don't leave this girl hanging thinking y'all going to watch a movie and then you just go home and don't be like, oh, I'm just going to stay home. She could have wanted to sleep if you were just going to go home. Like, listen, sleep is a valuable thing, guys. Okay, you're not gonna have me sitting here waiting for you. Like, okay, I'm just waiting for you to go home get the damn Apple TV. And if it's is that serious, at this point, let me rent a movie on Amazon Prime or on YouTube. We could watch something for like $4 on YouTube. Rent a movie there. I don't need your damn Apple TV. Don't play with me. And then you're gonna tell me, oh, I'm just gonna go sleep here. When I don't know how far away his house is from the apartment that they staying at, but you wasted a good ample amount of time where I could have already been in bed snoring at this point. Shout out to Bow. So we move on to Dr. Viviana leaves. And oh no, before then, because it went to commercial break, it comes back. Michaela says she's still learning. Dr. Viviana says, he's not perfect, so why does he expect Michaela to be perfect? And nobody's perfect. So they need to talk more about their boundaries and figure out together what they're going to do and try. So after she finally leaves, Zach gets up, goes to the dining room table, and just starts crying. So Michaela obviously goes sits by him. And he just has this mental breakdown of just like, he doesn't know what he's done to get them to this point. And he didn't realize he was like beating her down. And she's just like, she feels like he keeps beating her down, but she's trying to grow, because of the fact that he won't let go of her outbursts, her three little bees situation. And this causes Zach to cry more. And he's just like, he feels so horrible. Michaela says it's okay and she understands. He's like, no, you don't understand. You can't understand how I feel. You don't know how I feel. I wanted this so bad. I wanted this marriage so bad. You don't think Michaela wanted the marriage so bad, Zach? You don't think anybody else who went to, granted, not everybody wanted to marry at first sight just to marry. We seen Amelia's ass talking about, she felt like she could have gotten along with anyone because she just wanted to do something fun. Because she about to have a serious career going to being a doctor and all that stuff. So not everybody goes into it for the right reasons. But I feel like Michaela went into it for the right reasons. So you don't think she would understand how bad you feel? Think of how bad she felt for bursting out on you. And you keep bringing it back up in her head like, damn, I know I fucked up. But in this moment, he doesn't feel like Michaela understands. Michaela tries to reassure him and try to be there for him. And, you can see by her body language, she kind of like, I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like she feels like she's walking on eggshells in this aspect. And she tries to reassure him and touch his leg or his thigh and rub his thigh. But he's like, no, just don't touch me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Zach, calm down, dog. He just feels so terrible. And he's just like, he can't do this right now. He gets up cussing him storm. Because from the moment he sat down at the dinner table, he's just like, fuck, fuck, fuck. You just see her beep, 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 beep. And he gets up after his little mental breakdown and just goes to the room. Michaela gets up. She's crying at this point, and she walks away. And that's where the scene ends. And I'm just like, Zach, go to the room, take a breather, because you are feeling, I don't know if you're feeling terrible because of the way, like, you finally realize how you've been treating Michaela, or if it's for the fact that it's like this situation is just so messed up. You didn't want it to go this bad because you wanted the marriage to be going good. You wanted it to be Amani and Woody. That's what you wanted to be. Sorry, nobody could be Amani and Woody. Even though Amani and Woody had the little disagreements here or there, had the little arguments. Every relationship does, every marriage does. So that's to be, you trying to be Amani and Woody. Nobody could be an Amani and Woody but Amani and Woody, okay? We know we ain't gonna get that no more. That's true black love. Okay. But Zach, you're gonna have to calm down, Dad. Listen, technically we in episode 10. Is this half the season? We in half the season right now. So I know they have to bring up the theatrics, but Zach, I'm gonna need you to just take 3 deep breaths. Go into the room and figure things out. Michaela, what I'm gonna need you to do is just keep trying to be there for Zach, because if you want this to work out, so you won't have to just let him get his feelings out, because Zach is sensitive. So But let it out. I'm not gonna make a black man down, bring a black man down for crying. But at the same time, Zach, like, you doing a little too much. Just relax. So I guess the experts sent the couples another exercise and stuff to talk. And Jose and Rachel talk while doing the dishes. She says she hates the stigma that once a cheater, always a cheater, and that her past shouldn't determine her future. She doesn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. We get to Marilla and Gil, and Marilla talks about she's gotten better at being patient, understanding, because back in the day she used to be less patient, understanding, and Gil was like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Gil, don't take it as like, dang, because she bad right now, so then I can only imagine how she was back 5 years ago." Take it as like, okay, that's good. Let's continue on working on being less patient and more let's continue on being more patient and more understanding. Okay, we move on to Johnny and Bao. I guess he's insecure about not having a purposeful life. These were like little snippets, so I didn't write it word for word what they said, but they was asking each other questions and stuff on the car. So we get to Bao. She's explaining her life story, low key, of how she grew up poor in a dilapidated trailer, and her dad being the local drunk, and she lost some friends because of that, because her friends' parents didn't want her hanging out with her parents. Her friends' parents didn't want her friends hanging out with her because of the fact that her drunk ass daddy be at the house drinking all that stuff, or her daddy is the neighborhood drunk. Okay, Johnny appreciates that she's vulnerable, so they have this nice, long, intimate hug. Okay, cute. Move on to Dr. Viviana. Now she's visiting Jose and Rachel. And immediately, like Dr. Viviana said, she wants to talk about sex. Rachel and Jose, they blush and they're just like, oh my gosh, like, and she's just like, how's it going? And Rachel's just like, I wanted to keep it discreet. Jose's like, it's the cherry on top of their already perfect relationship. And Dr. Vivian's just like, okay, and you can tell it's so awkward. And they say they trust each other. Rachel says that Jose gives her the passcode to his phone, and she doesn't look at it because she doesn't feel like she needs to look at it because she trusts him, but she appreciates the fact that he gave her the passcode to his phone, vice versa. Jose said he has something like that. Do you have it or not, Jose? Just say yes or no. But he trusts her. He agrees. Everything is going great. 100%. Everything's perfect. And I literally wrote in my comment for this scene, www.fake.com. You giving me Ryan and Clara vibes from last season. Obviously, we're going to see it's not perfect. And it's funny because they just came with a little interjection in this whole episode of like, oh, y'all the one with the real problems. Like I said, Ryan, Clara vibes. We get to Michaela and Brett. And they went to go talk, to sit down and talk. And we find out from Brett, ever since Dr. Viviana came to their house, Ryan went back home. And I'm just like, what is with these men going to their freaking house? There is 2 rooms in the apartment, people. You cannot go to the other room and just have your little stupid ass reset in the other damn room. This gets me upset and frustrated because it's like, you knew what you signed up for. So the first time you see something like, oh, you're not really into the chick or whatever, you're just gonna be like, all right, I'm just gonna get up and leave. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. So what do you think a marriage is going to be? You don't think you're going to have issues in a marriage? You don't think you're going to have little roadblocks in a marriage? There's not going to be times where you're always attracted to your partner because they can do something stupid where you can be like, man, I'm not attracted to you right now. I'll probably be attracted to you later on tonight and stuff when you take your shirt off. But right now, I'm not like, and you just, okay, I'm just going to go home because you have, no. I think that's the reason why they have 2-bedroom apartments. Because not every day is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So he went home. I'm like, this damn season 13, lucky 13, the men are shit because they just go home when they're not feeling their wives or significant other, knowing that was a risk you took of coming on Married at First Sight in the first fucking place. But I digress. And Michaela's just like, her and Zach are trying to work through it, but it's hard. Marriage is hard. No fucking shit. Look, I'm sorry for all the cussing right now, but I'm like, this is episode 10. We don't got time for you to be acting stupid. This is a marriage. You should have known from the get-go, marriage is not easy. Relationships alone aren't easy. Any type of relationship, whether you're with a significant other, a best friend, family, marriages, relationships are not easy. You're gonna have the days where shit gets tough. And for this little bullshit, I'm like, there is way bigger stuff that you're gonna have to jump over in the long run than this little stupid ass, dumb ass shit. I'm so sorry, but I'm just like frustrated. Like I'm so frustrated how some of these people in the cast are just acting like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it's gonna be so difficult, so hard. Who's making it hard though? Now, Michaela, I understand Zach acting a little wishy washy at the moment, but I mean, at least you took blame for your part. You admitted that you were wrong and overreacting and whatnots. But at the same time, did you think it was gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy just because you guys fucked like the second night that you guys met? No, you should have known that. And I'm tired of all these couples thinking everything's supposed to be perfect, like a fairy tale. Dr. Viviana says, no, this is reality, people. Even though reality TV is not reality TV, this is reality. So Brett said she would have told Ryan that she's wasting her time. If they were dating, she would have left. And I'm just like, to be, well, I don't think you guys would be dating if it wasn't for Married at First Sight in the first place, Brett. But I get what you're trying to say because you dealt with other guys who didn't like you. But at the same time, how long it took before you realized they didn't like you? I'm pretty sure it was longer than 2 weeks. Granted, you've been spending every day with Ryan since you guys got married. But at the same time, we got to take into consideration, yes, it's only been like 2 weeks. Well, at this point, it said 25 days. So like almost a month at this point. So 3-4 weeks, give or take. So I think she's jumping the gun a little bit because I feel like a good amount of the cast are saying, oh, if we were dating, I would have been gone. And it's just like, but then again, if you were dating, you probably wouldn't have realized some of this stuff at this moment in time just yet. Well, then again, Johnny's been on 100 dates. I'm trying to figure out what's the span of those 100 days. Was it like 100 days, 100 weeks, or whatnot? Because obviously you could go on a date and then be on the next date the next week. But I digress. Whatever. So we move on because I'm tired of this cast already. To Viviana visiting Marilla and Gil. Marilla feels like, because Dr. Viviana was asking them, how do they feel in the relationship? What would they give it out of a score of 1 to 10? Marilla says she feels like the relationship is a 7. Gil feels like the relationship is at an 8. Dr. Viviana asks about the physical. Marilla says 7 because she's comfortable of where they're at. Gil says a 5 because he feels and wishes that it was more. They still have not yet they kissed, and Marilla feels like kissing and sex is the same thing. And I'm just like, Marilla, it is not the same thing. But if you're going to take it as in the same category because, kissing could lead to sex, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, girl, it's not the same thing. For goodness sakes, like, we kiss random people on the cheek. Well, we don't. But some cultures, you kiss people on the cheek. Well, in my culture, technically, yeah, Haitians do that too. But people kiss on the cheek. So that's, even though that's not direct lip-to-lip contact, it don't need to be the same thing. For goodness sakes, parents kiss their damn kids on the lips. Okay? Does that lead to sex? No. It shouldn't lead to sex, at least. But we're not going to talk about that. Sex and kissing is not the same thing. But in Marilla's aspect, in her head, it is. And I'm just like, Marilla, I'm going to need you to stop feeling like it's something so taboo to kiss somebody and not lead to sex. What did you do in your past? Then she goes into the, she has a lot of trust issues and she's been cheated on before. So she feels like kissing is a very intimate thing and she doesn't want to do it unless she trusts the person. And I'm just like, so you don't want to kiss someone unless you trust them, but you would marry someone that you don't know, that you don't trust yet? Make it make sense. Anywho, so Gil is still in the mindset of, listen, if we don't kiss by decision day, it's a divorce for me. She's like, we're not gonna get no divorce. So that gets Gil kind of excited, like, okay, that means you're gonna kiss me. And she's just like, eventually. So she's like, hold your horses right there. Like, hold on. I didn't say I was going to kiss you like tomorrow. And I'm just saying, eventually I will kiss you if we continue progressing. Like, we ain't going to divorce. And I'm just like, okay, Marilyn, with the confidence. But you better kiss him because he not staying if you don't kiss him. So we going to see how that works out. Did I miss anything from them? No. No. Okay. We move on to Dr. Viviana visiting Johnny and Bao. And she asked him about tests. I guess he put her through a few tests. One was that morning about fixing the bed, and I guess she didn't really help him fix the bed. And he likes to do things together, like cooking and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Eventually, it's like we're gonna always have to make the bed together. Like, y'all don't have different schedules because I'm sure you guys don't wake up at the same time. I'm sure you guys don't go to work at the same time. If you do, okay. But you have to make the bed together every day. I don't know. I'm the type of person, low key, is like I don't mind doing things together, but for something like making in the bed, I wouldn't put it as a test to test my significant other and be like, oh, I give you 2 points out of 10 because you didn't help me fix the bed. I could fix the bed by myself. Just today, me and my husband did the laundry together, but I'm not gonna feel some type of way if I were doing it by myself. That to me, that's a little petty stuff. But then again, Johnny's a petty ass nigga, so that's nothing surprising. But anywho, they continue talking about their relationship, and Val says that she's not good at reading signals when it comes to romance because I guess she was putting the salmon in the oven while they were cooking together, and he was checking her out. And I'm just like, so you don't catch that because I guess she's just so focused on doing her task at hand that nothing else matters in that moment but her doing the task. And I'm just like, well, Val, you're gonna have to de-escalate that a little bit, especially when it comes to your relationship, and just like Johnny said, just live in the moment. As much as Johnny gets on my nerves right about now, he does have a point. Just be in a moment and just be more observant. Let that be your new task. Let that be your new spreadsheet. Need to work on observation, body language. Okay. But she did admit that they had sex, but we already knew that. And Dr. Viviana asked Johnny, she's like, I know you say you like vanilla sex, so how's that going? He's like, oh, it's been very vanilla sex. And I guess Bao, she said she wants to explore a little bit more later down the line. Like obviously not right now, but later on down the line. But Johnny seems like he's good where they at. He don't need to do nothing more than vanilla sex. And I'm just like, Bao, he did tell you this, and you seemed okay with that, but now we see you not okay with that. So I'm gonna have to figure that out later on down the line. But Dr. Viviana presses the issue a little bit, I guess, of how often they're having sex and whatnot. And Val said she would like to have sex more than once. Because Dr. Viviana asked, have you guys had sex like more than once? And Val's just like, maybe. And I'm just like, couples, people. We're not asking you to give us every little detail of what y'all did behind closed doors. Just be yes or no. It's a yes or no. At this point, you say you already had sex. So why is the maybe I don't yes, Dr. Viv, yes, we had sex more than once. Yes. Like come on. So I guess the how many times they be having sex is not good enough about, I don't know if she a nymphomaniac or something, but she's like she wants to fuck every day or every other day. And then Johnny was just like, okay, and I'm just like, okay, Bow. Okay, I see you like the sex. Bow, you like the sex? Okay, see, this is why I like you, Bow. Low key, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I be looking at you sideways. But in this case, I'm like, oh, Bow likes the sex. So I'm pretty sure Johnny's keeping it cool. But in the back of his head, he's like, yeah, we gonna do something tonight as soon as Dr. Viviana leaves. So anyway, we move on to Zach and Michaela. And they have a date night at one of Zach's family friends' house. And they bring, I guess, the questions that the experts gave them to do an exercise on. So they get in the pool and they talk. Zach still wants to fight for the relationship. Michaela's also willing to move forward too. And they write each other questions and blindfold each other to who's ever asking the question. Obviously, he's not blindfolded, but who's ever answering the question is the one that's blindfolded. So they ask each other questions. Zach asks Michaela questions first. Michaela then asks Zach questions, and pretty much she just asks Zach, what does he think about the future of them? And he said he's doubtful. So Michaela says she sees a future, so she seemed kind of a little hurt by his answer, but at least he was honest. We don't get more of that, but we move on to Brett making dinner with sad music playing in the background because the producers be dramatic AF. And Ryan finally comes home with his dog, and Brett says she doesn't give up because she's not a giver upper. And I'm like, but you were just telling Michaela that if you guys were dating, you would have told him like she doesn't have time to waste of someone not liking her the way she likes him. So I'm like, so is it because you're married now, so you're gonna try a little bit harder? But probably yes, that's why it is. So anyway, he comes over for dinner so they can sit down and talk and discuss. And I'm just like, Ryan looks like he got a good night's sleep. Look like he got a good 2 nights sleep. And of course, it's been 2 days since he's been at the apartment, and we see a flashback clip of him talking about, he just needed a reset, primarily at his house. And he feels a lot better from his reset. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's with all these resets? You needed a reset. Johnny needed a reset. Freaking Jacob and Haley's ass did plenty of resets last season. What's with all these damn resets? Do we really need a reset? Like, what is this? Or are the producers telling you to go home for dramatic effect? What is this? What with y'all? This cast is just not it. Oh my goodness. But Brett's happy that he's feeling better about everything, and Ryan said he doesn't feel defeated anymore. And he told Brett, listen, if you see me acting some type of way and in a funk or whatever, you just need to call me out my BS. And Brett's just like, okay, all right, I'll do that. Okay, Brett's just, she's happy and stuff. And Ryan said he doesn't want to go back to dating no more and wants the marriage to work. So Brett's just blushing. She's like, this is just perfect. I'm like, all right, cool. Work it out, guys. Okay. This is the most we got from you guys this season so far. Just work it out. Ryan, thank you for getting some good night's sleep. The bags are starting to disappear a little bit. I'm like, good for you, Ryan. Just work on just lining up the beard a little bit more. I liked you with the curly hair and the unfiltered, the first unfiltered for this season. Bring that back. Brett, just stop being a little prude, okay? You still gonna be a prude later on in the episode. Just work it out. So we get to Rachel and Jose. I guess this was the climax, or almost the climax of the episode. Jose and Rachel are hanging out on the balcony or somewhere in the apartment complex. Rachel accidentally calls Jose by the wrong name. Jose flips out. So now in this scene, we see Jose washing dishes or whatever. Sitting on the stool is Rachel and the producer. Why is the producer there? Because she didn't say not one damn thing at that point. Don't know. I guess to just be there in case the situation escalates. Don't know. But Jose going off, calling her all types of like, that's fucked up. This not no fucking girlfriend, not no fucking boyfriend shit. You can't be doing that shit. Call me by another nigga's name, blah, 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 blah. And Rachel's just like, never has anyone ever talked to me like that and disrespected me like that. And my parents taught me never to allow a man to ever disrespect me or talk to me like that. Jose is just like, well, you need to get out. You need to get out. You need to go. I'll take this ring off and just throw it at you. You need to go. And Rachel's just like, who is this right now? Like, this is not what you were acting like. This is not the Jose that I know for these past 25 days. And she's just like, who am I married to? And she said, what happened to happy life or happy wife, happy life? And I'm just like, Rachel, he the wife, girl. Cause the way he popping his neck and being like, you need to go, you need to leave, you need to leave. I'm just like, okay, Jose, you doing a little too much. You sure all it was she calling you by another nigga's name? You sure that's it? Cause you I thought do a little too much for it to be that. I don't know. So after Rachel asked about what about happy wife, happy life, Jose's like, man, listen, I got some shit to do tomorrow. I don't got time for this shit. You need to get out and go. So that's what we see for right now. We gonna find out what happened later. Anywho, so Brett and Ryan they go to do a tantric yoga class. Like I said, Brett's a prude. Oh my gosh. So the instructors, trying, tell her, you just follow me to do this and do that. So the instructor goes like, just gonna go, and then Brett's just like, oh my god, I just can't do that. Like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. And the instructor got the little pineapple and to put around the guy's lips. Brett feeds it to Ryan. Ryan's just like, you're not supposed to feed it to me. Like, damn girl, you can't caress this guy with damn pineapple chunks. Really? So you can just see she's so uncomfortable, and she's just like, she's not afraid of talking about sex, but she's just making a lot of jokes because she is a little uncomfortable. It's been 2 years since she had sex, so it's they're just not there yet. And I'm just like, no, Brett, you're not there because you guys are not there because you're not there. Ryan's ready. He's fully loaded. Listen, when he went to go do the reset, I'm pretty sure he watched a couple of videos on ph.com and released 2 days worth, or actually 25 days worth of semen. I'm convinced he had to just let off a load because you definitely not giving him none. So he's just like, I gotta go do what I gotta do at my house with the deer on the wall in his bedroom. I just gotta release a little bit. And you see how well he looked? After 2 days, the bags are starting to clear from his eyes. His face is looking a little brighter. He's in a better mood, doing his little awkward little chugga, So, Brett, listen, I'm gonna need you to stop being a prude. I said this in the past couple of episodes. Brett, you just a little bit of a prude for me. I'm gonna need you to figure it out. Like, get better. Be better. I like you, Brett, but you're just a little bit of a proof for me. And I'm like, you're married to this guy, for goodness sakes. I understand it's been 2 years, Brett, but I would figure you would be hella sexually frustrated at this point, unless you got some toys we don't know about. That's none of our business, to be honest. But it's just like, you acting a little too calm after not having sex for 2 years. I don't know, but then again, she could just be moving. So I get it, people want to move slow, but come on, Brett. Especially for a guy who says physical touch and stuff is pretty much his love language, I'm gonna need you to do a little bit more. At least be more entwined with him. You don't have to necessarily have sex, but just physically, just be more. Y'all can't have a makeout session. That's damn near sex. Not what Marilla said though. Don't be trying that. Whoever be watching this be like, oh, what about me? No, that's a whole different sort of scenario. That's a whole different situation. Okay, that's a whole different situation. But we move on to Jose the next day, the next morning, and I guess it's so awkward. Jose asks how's Rachel. She's just like, she's still upset about how Jose blew up on her, and she doesn't trust Jose. And Jose's just like, wow, dang, it's like that. And it's like, yeah, niggas like that. So then we get to the situation of her saying he locked her out. So we get the flashback of the night before, and she's banging on the door. Obviously, he's not answering. She goes bangs on Marilla and Gil's door. I don't think they answered. I don't know. Then she go bangs on Brett and Ryan's door. I don't know if they answer. She go calls her friend. Because I guess what happened, Jose's just like, oh, she just disappeared. And he always secures his property before going to sleep. And I'm like, so you wasn't going to try to find out where your wife went? But then again, since he blew up, he didn't care about his wife in that moment. And she said she left to go out with a friend or whatever to, I guess, blow off some steam. So when she came back, the door was locked, dead bolted. And she had to call her friend to come pick her up. Probably had to go sleep at the friend's house for the night. And he's just like, Rachel feels like Jose doesn't care. And He's like, he doesn't know how he feels. He doesn't know if he cares or not. And she's just like, she can't be his wife because she's sincerely apologized for calling him a different name, a different man's name. And in that event, he just blew up on her and just pretty much kicked her out. And in that aspect, I'm just like, and that's funny because that was her fear all along of being kicked out. This is the reason why she doesn't want to go move in with your ass to your house, Jose, because in the sense that you guys having a disagreement like this again, because you guys are married, it's gonna happen. You're not always gonna see eye to eye clearly and have disagreements. So this is her fear of you gonna just be like, all right, you gotta go. This is not gonna work for us. And that's why she won't move to your house. And you just proved her point with this little debacle of an incident that you just blew to the nines, to the up in the heavens, because she called you another nigga's name. And I'm just like, is there something else to this? Because I understand for being a little upset and looking at her a little sideways for calling you another man's name. I totally get that. But to the way he blew up, you would have think she done cheated on this nigga. So it goes to dramatic, it goes to commercial, comes back. And like I said, she said she doesn't want to be married to him anymore. He's just like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm just like, so you don't care. You really don't care. All because she called you another man's name. Because that really hurt his ego. That really, took a stab to his masculinity because he's all about being a man and stuff like that. And Rachel goes to the room to go start packing because she's just like, okay, I guess I'm going to go pack. And then Jose's ass like, oh, well, there's some boxes in the back for you or whatever. And I'm just like, damn, Jose, cold as fuck. Cold AF. So she goes to the room to start packing. The producer comes to talk to Jose, like, oh, what's going on? And Jose's like, hey, listen, she's done, she's done. She's done, so I'm done. Rachel says she always leaves off a relationship not explaining or saying what she really needs to say to get off her chest. So she says she's going to do it different this time. So she, I guess, wrote a letter a few days ago, comes back to read Jose the letter. And it's pretty much of they were good in the beginning, but then not too long after the beginning, she was seeing that he's a controller pretty much. And she's just not happy with him. And Jose is just like, because when she read the letter, she's like, I want to have the eye contact with you. Please look at me while I'm reading you this letter. So after she reads the letter about him being controlling and, the little mishaps that she just seen of him not wanting to move, of him wanting her to move with him. And he just has this whole life set out for her, written for her already before she even came in. She sees that she's not a good fit for him. And she just doesn't see this working. So Jose now feels some type of way. He feels betrayed. Excuse me. And he doesn't understand why Rachel is just now telling him this now on the day that she's telling him, oh, I don't want to be together. And she's like, she can understand that she was wrong for that. She said she should have told him way in advance or as it was happening. And she's like, that's the difference between her and him, because she can admit her wrong, but he can't. And in this instance, I'm looking at Rachel. And I'm just like, Rachel, you look like you wanna, I don't know. Like, I commend her for standing up for herself. But at the same time, the way she was looking in her body language, it looks like she's not used to standing up for herself. So she kind of looked wavery. She kind of looked nervous. I don't know if it was because she didn't know what Jose was going to do, or if it's because she's not used to really standing up for herself like that. And I'm just like, Rachel, I'm going to need you to, you did good, but I'm going to need you to put some bass in your voice, girl. You going to have to let this nigga know, like, listen, bitch, you ain't going to talk to me like that. You should have Michaela with you, man, because Michaela would have got him straight, all the way straight since last night. But, she's trying to be better for Zach. She crazy. She toxic. But in this moment, you should have been a Michaela. Just let him have, because he blew up on you the night before. Now, I know two wrongs don't make a right. I understand that, people. I understand two wrongs don't make a right. And a yelling match is not ideal. At the same time, though, this is Jose, who feel like he could just control any and everybody. Listen, if I see that white boy one more time, I'm gonna go crazy. But in this instance, especially if she gonna ask Jose for a divorce and stuff, she gonna need to show him, like, listen, you can't break me, Bitch, I've been through way worse than you, and you definitely not gonna talk to me. She said it, but I wish she would have just put more bass in her voice and put more like stank on it to be like, listen, Jose, this is what we not finna do. But anywho, Jose is just like, he wants to say sorry because he feels bad, but he doesn't want to say sorry. And then Rachel's like, I wish you would just say sorry. Like, I wish you would just apologize because you're making it worse by not saying it. He's just like, well, I'm not going to say just to make you feel better and stuff. I'm not going to say sorry just because. And I'm just like, Jose, is it really just because though? Or is it because you really feel sorry? Because if you really feel sorry, you're going to say sorry. You should say sorry. And I feel like, is that a hit at your pride or ego for apologizing for your wrongdoing that you know was wrong, that you said you feel like you should apologize for because you know what you did was wrong and overreacting? Or Jose, get out of here with that BS. We move on to Johnny and Bao. They received the exercise package and went out. Oh, I think I overpassed when Gil and Marilla got the package. She was so excited about getting the package and looking at all the stuff they had in there, like all the foods and macaroons and stuff. And Gil was like, "Can I read the card first?" He's like, "Do you got ADD or something?" She's like, "A little bit." And he's like, "Well, goodness gracious!" And he's like, "Do you want to put on the excuse me? Do you want to put on the blindfold?" She's like, "No, that's gonna ruin my eyelashes." And he's like, "Do you want to do the body shot?" She's like, "No, I don't do body shots." Then what else he asked? It was like the body shots, the blindfold, and reenact how you would want me to initiate sex. And she's just like, "Oh no, she don't do that." And I'm just like, "What do you do, Marilla?" But then again, like I said, this is Marilla. At this point, I'm just like, whatever. I don't got the energy to talk about her. So then I guess they had a. Then I missed this whole part. Dang, I don't even know where it was, but anywho, so anywho, they have the exercise. I'm so sorry, where they just put their foreheads together and say what they like about each other, what they need from each other, and what they can do to grow back. I don't know what the 3 questions was, but I guess it goes well. She's like, "Oh, he's so sweet. My husband's so sweet," and stuff. And producers ask her, "Are you feeling like you're getting closer to kissing your husband?" And she's just like, "Yeah, I'm getting close." And I'm like, "Okay, this is progress." Now, normally I'd be like, whatever, but this is Marilla we're talking about. So I'm just like, okay. We see the little shedding some layers back little by little. Who said the thing about the onion? She's like an onion. You gotta peel her back layer and layer at a time. Whatever. So we get to Johnny and Bao. They do the exercise and they play nurse and patient. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. Role playing, all right. They they play sexy thighs. Bao's happy with the relationship and clearly gets very sensual, intimate. They making out and whatever, and they get to the bed and whatever, and then they just start kissing on each other and whatever, and he just on top of her and whatever, and she on top of him, whatever. So obviously we know where that went down, and I'm just like, all right, Johnny Ball, do your thing. I ain't got nothing to say. Do your thing. We move on to Rachel and the girls. She brings the girls minus Michaela since Michaela's sick, and they go to do the smashing things exercise. The guys go play golf, and of course Ryan's the pro. I feel like any activity they do, Ryan's the pro because Ryan done tried every damn thing there is to do probably in Houston, Texas at this point. So they do that, and I guess the girls are just breaking everything. Rachel, all dramatic with it, is just like, "You're not gonna leave me locked out the door. You're not gonna do this. Not gonna." I'm just like, all right, Rachel, get it out, girl. We understand. So all the girls are breaking stuff, except for Marilyn. Marilyn's just looking like, "What is this, honey? I don't do this. Where the nearest brunch spot at? I don't. What is this? I don't do this stuff." Because she even said in a confession, what she say? She's like, this is not how she chooses to have fun. We know Marilla. At this point, we know it's episode 10. I'm exhausted talking about high maintenance ads. We know. So we get to Jose explaining what happened. Oh no, before that, Marilla Gil, guys. I was like, finally, Marilla, this is what we've been waiting for. Finally. So we know if you guys don't make it through the 2 months, it's not because of the kiss. Marilla, I'm so proud of you. We still can't be friends, but I'm so proud of you, Marilla. Yes. So, all right. After that, because all the guys were like, "Congrats, Gil, congrats, dog," and the girls were all hugged Marilla and all that stuff. Okay, that was cute. So we get to Jose explain what happened between him and Rachel. And he talks very dismissively, like, "Oh, I might have overreacted, and she was locked out. I accidentally locked her out and stuff." And then all the guys are kind of just like, "You sure?" They each individually said in the confessional, just like, Gil's like, "I don't think he's giving the full story." Johnny's just like, "I don't know if I would have done that." Zach's just like, it's kind of weird. I don't know what Zach said, but to something to the effect of it's kind of weird. And then Ryan's ass just like, "Yeah, I wouldn't accidentally lock my wife out the apartment with a dead bolt." Exactly, Ryan. We with you. We here. I get you, Ryan. Listen, I feel like me and Ryan could be friends because of his sarcastic. He's hilariously sarcastic or sarcastically hilarious. So I feel like me and Ryan we could get along great. I'm just gonna need him to take like 2 naps, 2 days worth of naps before we hanging out, so I can see a little of umpthiness. Okay, some life in him. Okay, because sometimes I feel like we still gotta check a pulse, but he seemed like more lively in this episode towards the end, at least. So, because he let off some rounds of semen watching ph.com. So, anywho, it goes to commercial, comes back, and Jose is still not really explaining what the real issue is. And we get back to Rachel explaining with the girls that Jose is just very unresponsive and she doesn't love him anymore and she's done. And obviously the girls are on her side and just like Jose, Bao said something about Jose's ego, and I'm like, yes, Bao, you right. Brett said I don't know what Brett said, but I'm just like, all the girls agree, like, Jose crazy as fuck. We already knew that. This is 10 episodes, so we understand, Rachel. We here with you. I just hope you just stick your ground and start being more assertive with your comebacks, especially to Jose's ass. And Jose, we go back to the guys. Jose, he saying he don't trust Rachel, and Ryan, I guess to be the comedic relief, was like, "Oh, I know whose name she called you when she was with you. She said Johnny." So the guys kind of laugh with that, but not really. And Ryan in the confessional says he really doesn't care. He said he doesn't care for Jose and how he's feeling and what he's going through because it's Jose's fault. And I'm like, yeah, because Ryan, see, this is why I said me and Ryan could probably be friends because he peeped what I peep. It's like I ain't trying to say nothing, but I'm trying to say something. So he already peeps that same thing, and he's just like, whatever, man. Whatever you could do to just get the cameras off of me and my wife, you do that. So that's what happened. And even though Ryan thinks it's Jose's fault, he's just like, they should still try to work it out if they want to work it out. And like I said, Rachel said she don't love him no more. And she had no idea that he was like this. And this is where the episode ends. And I'm surprised that they didn't give a preview of what's going to happen in the next episode. And I'm just like, so now I can't even give a commentary of what I feel like was going to happen next week. All I can just say is thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. And like I said, none of these couples gonna work. Marilla and Gil, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe she want to stay. Maybe he don't want to stay. I don't know. Maybe they might be the Miles and Karen for this season. I don't know. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.